buddy and kid sister. Each sold separately from Play School.
Americans watch an average of 1 hour of commercials every day, and this doesn't include every other source of advertisement that we are exposed to daily. Children are particularly susceptible to the ads, including the social ideas presented to them through these commercials. One idea that's incredibly prevalent in ads, particularly those for toys, is that boys and girls play with different things and act in different ways that correspond with traditional gender roles set forth in society many years ago. Because of the perpetuation of gender roles in seemingly trivial advertising for toys, children tend to gravitate towards the imposed behaviors dictated by larger society, silencing an identity that may not conform to the mainstream.
Gender has been used in advertisements as long as they've been around. The use of the smiling housewife to sell kitchen appliances and the charming man to sell ties is familiar to all, but this gendered marketing is extended to children's toys as well. These ads were often made to reflect the family values of the time. Girls had play kitchen sets and boys had bridge building kits, thus differentiating between expected roles for each respective gender to grow into, even in toys. Although there was a significant decrease in gendered toys in the 70s, use of gender in advertising directed at children made a return in the 90s. This has continued into the present.
Have you heard about Betty? Betty Spaghetti. She's got real cool clothes. Lots of clothes. She's got real cool hair. I love her hair. Have you seen her style? Have you met her friends? Have you heard about Betty? Betty Spaghetti.
Commercials directed at young girls have distinct tropes that make their target audience clear. They use bright colors, often include groups of friends, and use jingles far more than commercials that are directed at boys do.
The Transformers war is here, and both sides can change from vehicle to blaster in an instant.
Commercials whose target audience is boys use darker or more neutral colors, like gray or navy. They more often feature 1 or 2 boys as opposed to a group like in the commercials for girls, and they use dramatic and intense language to describe toys.
The toys themselves are also different. Toys for girls encourage domestic activities, socialization, and beauty. Toys marketed towards boys encourage building or engineering, competition, and skill building. Overall, it's the mix of the visual cues in the commercials and the type of cognition that each of the toys encourages that proves harmful for children's ideas about themselves and others by enforcing a strict set of expectations.
In a New York Times article, Alice Robb quotes psychology professor Megan Fulcher. The impact of sex-specific toy choice has implications for children's learning and attitudes far beyond the playground. Play with masculine toys is associated with large motor development and spatial skills, and play with feminine toys is associated with fine motor development, language development, and social skills.
This differentiation in the relative development that masculine and feminine toys encourage is damaging. By labeling toys that help develop different areas as for boys or for girls, toy and advertising companies are actively inhibiting the development of a range of cognitive abilities in children that could be achieved if they could play with toys in an environment without stigma.
An article in The Atlantic, written by Elizabeth Sweet, looks at the history of gendered advertising and provides this quote: "Decoupling toys from gender actually widens the range of options available. It opens up the possibility that children can explore and develop their diverse interests and skills, unconstrained by the dictates of gender stereotypes."
Essentially, the problems arise when children refuse to play with toys that they would want to play with otherwise just because they're gendered. Social skills and spatial reasoning are both important concepts for children to develop, and the designation of those skills to one gender or the other results in less than ideal development.
The National Association for the Education of Young Children conducted an interview with Judith Blakemore about gendered toys. Blakemore had conducted a study on the differences between masculine toys and feminine toys and came to the conclusion that strongly gender-typed toys appear to be less supportive of optimal development than neutral or moderately gender-typed toys.
So, not only does the separation of developmental concepts by gender limit a child's choice, the toys that are least effective for children's learning are also the most gendered.
Yeah, so then why do all the girls have to find princesses? Some girls like superheroes, some girls like princesses. Some boy like superheroes, some boy like princesses.
For children, toys that could otherwise be enjoyed by everyone are categorized through the use of explicit and implicit gendering that inhibits the development of identity and perpetuates often harmful stereotypes about how boys and girls are expected to behave. A child whose interests don't align with their assigned gender may feel invalidated as a result of the stereotypes that the advertisements and toys perpetuate. While views on gender roles are changing, the toy industry has been stagnant in their portrayal of masculine versus feminine roles and behaviors. Holding toy companies accountable for their marketing strategies and encouraging children to explore every facet of their identity will combat the harmful effects that these commercials can have.